So retreat, time is infinite and a date is infinite. Chapter 2. Yesterday, I decided to look up women of the Bible, and I stumbled across two women that caught my attention. One named Hannah and the other Rebecca. And Rebecca is a woman who had a husband named Isaiah, and Rebecca, as I said, had a hard time having kids, so her husband prayed for her in her behalf for her to be able to have children. And she was able to have children eventually. She had two boys. One name was Jacob and the other name was Esau. And the mother favored Jacob and the father favored Esau. Over time, the father became old. He lost his sight, and he wanted his older son Esau to carry on the legacy pretty much. He wanted to bless him. So he called for him one day, and he came, and he told his son Esau he wanted to bless him, but he wanted him to go catch him some game, which in that aspect I was taking it as go hunt and then prep me a meal that he would enjoy eating. So Esau did, and Rebecca, the wife of Isaiah, overheard the conversation that Isaiah had with his son, and she went back and told the son that she favored more, which was Jacob, what was happening. And she told Jacob to go and fetch the game and bring it to her, and she would cook the meal, and she wanted the son Jacob to take the food to the father Isaiah and pretend that he's Esau, because she wanted Jacob to have the blessing. So Jacob did, and the mom cooked the food and everything. And then Rebecca decided to dress the son up like Esau and send him to the father with the food. And remember, the father is blind, and Isaiah is blind during this time. So he didn't see he was approaching him. So he, greeted, asking, "Who are you?" And Jacob had responded in a really devious aspect, as into, "It's me, father, Esau." And the father seemed not to resonate that it was a true aspect, so he kept questioning him, as into, "Are you really who you say you are?" He did not believe that that was his son. And it's intriguing to me in the aspect that they said he was blind, but he could still hear. Did the children sound alike to me? It's just something I thought about. You didn't recognize a difference? Or was it the fact of maybe he was going through Alzheimer's or something during a time where he just, really older? That's just a side note, something that I thought about within the story aspect. But the father kept seeming not to believe him, so he asked him to come closer to him so he can touch him. And he felt his arm, and they said that he had hair on there. And both sons had hair on their arms, so he's like, "You are my son." So he ate the meal and he blessed them. And then eventually, not Esau, Jacob had left out, and then Esau actually had come, and he was excited, as into, "Father, I brought you your game. I'm ready for you to bless me." And the father was just he had a confused aspect, as into, "What? We just did this, I just ate the meal. I just gave you your blessing, And then he realized, he'd been deceived. And Esau was sad and hurt. And he just kept asking, "Is there any way you can bless me still with anything?" And the father just was he gave it away. Which, that took me into another energy of thinking about a person being tricked. This is in a sexual way. And they have intercourse with somebody, and they realize it wasn't the person that they thought it was. Then they wind up getting pregnant, and then you stuck with them. It's a situation that can't be fixed. That's the way the energy was coming off as. But he realized that the son, he had blessed his other son, Jacob. But within this whole story aspect, I have to go back to the beginning, as into how they met, because one, Rebecca was not supposed to have kids. There was a reason why she could not conceive. But since, her husband spoke on her behalf, he had enough faith and trust in her that she wouldn't betray him. But as I was saying, back in the deja vu aspect, when you flip into a mirroring aspect, as into how Rebecca even became Isaiah's wife. Isaiah's father, Abraham, did not want Isaiah to marry somebody within the area that they stayed in, which I believe it was called Kenite. He wanted his son to marry somebody from a farther distance, which is the same concept that his wife Rebecca did. She didn't want Esau to have the blessing. She wanted it to be Jacob, so she sent Jacob to fetch the gain and bring it to her. It was the same way that Isaiah's father Abraham sent a servant out to look for Isaiah a wife. And as the servant was out looking for a wife for Isaiah, I guess he became tired, and in a desperate aspect of the energy, he just was like, the first woman that comes and offers me water and will give my camels water, that's going to be the wife. And within the prayer aspect, that's where Rebecca showed up. And she became the wife just because the energy of right timing, right place, right tools. And I thought that was so intriguing because that's the same way in a mirroring deja vu aspect. The son that she favored followed the same concept. He was in the right place at the right time with the right tools. On the flip side, when it came to the husband Isaiah, the son that he favored, which was Esau, they both never got to make a choice in a decision in how things went for them. I thought that was so intriguing in a deja vu form when it comes to generational aspects repeating